everyone. Welcome to another episode of It's Crystal Clear, a show that's designed to tell your money where to go instead of always wondering where it went. My name is Felicia Young, and I thank you for spending some more time with me so I can help you put more money inside of your account. So today's episode is called I Am Not Supposed to Be Broke. So, the word broke. It's a term that we all know way too well. Broke. No money, no penny, no dime, no quarter, no dollars. Broke. Unfortunately, many of you are broke, struggling, just trying to make it to the next payday. I am a huge science nerd. I love watching shows about astronomy. I love seeing shows about before Christ history. I love watching how the world was formed. And I am just fascinated how God created everything. He was so extra, like with everything from the largest stars and galaxies to the smallest cells and molecules in our bodies. I'm just fascinated by God's ability to create. So one day while watching one of these shows, I found myself being in awe at how the animals were provided for. They have access to unlimited water, to unlimited food. They had shelter. None of those animals have money. They don't have no pennies. They don't have no nickels. They don't have no dimes. They don't have no dollars. So, by definition, the animals should be broke. Yet they missed no meals. They didn't suffer from thirst. God made sure He took care of His creation. So, thinking about that, it sparked today's lesson for me. So if all of those creatures, all of those animals that God made have everything they need to survive and to thrive, then why do we, as the creatures made in his image, have such a difficult time to thrive? It's because you're allowing yourself to be broke and you're not supposed to be. So, y'all already know, one of my favorite people on the planet is my grandson. He is just so handsome. He's so funny and he's very smart. And so I've done several episodes about how I do anything for him to make sure that he has everything he needs to be a great human living a great life. So one day, he and I went to lunch with another friend of mine and we took her grandson. So I love eating at restaurants where you can sit outside, especially if it's by water. I just love the peacefulness of it. So we're at this restaurant, sitting outside, by some water, and both of our grandkids are sitting in their high chairs. We order food. So I got my grandson some chicken strips, got him some fries, got him some fruit, and a glass of water. I ordered myself a great plate. You don't need to know what was on it. So we're eating. We're having a great time. And the kids wanted to run and play. So they're out running and playing. Every few minutes or so, they'll run back to the table and they'll grab something off of their plate. They'll go back out and play, run back, grab something off of our plate, go back and play, come back, their plate. After a while, they wore themselves out and they simply came, got in their laps, and went smooth to sleep. So my friend and I, we were finishing up our conversation. And while we were talking, I was just kind of staring around, just kind of watching the view. And I noticed there were some birds walking near the water, taking a few sips to drink. Then they flew to the patio where we were, and they ate some of the food that had dropped from different people's tables. After they got what they needed, they just simply flew away. Now I'm watching this unfold. So the birds, they got thirsty. They fly to the water. They drink as much as they want. After they finish with that, they get hungry. They fly to the patio and they eat what's been dropped. Shrimp, pieces of fish, green beans, rice. They get full and they have to pay no bill. They have to leave no tip, nothing. So they have access to everything they need and it didn't cost them a dime. Okay? So I looked at our grandsons who were knocked out on our laps, snoring. Y'all, their bellies were fat full from a variety of food to choose from. Food that they didn't have to pay for, a tip that they didn't have to leave. They were able to drink as much water as they wanted because they were able to get refills that they didn't have to pay for. They were able to rip and run play as much as they wanted to. They were able to come in and just take naps on our laps. They were able to be at peace without a care in the world. The birds had as much as they needed and more. They didn't have to worry about where their meal was coming from. They didn't have to worry about how their thirst was going to get quenched. They didn't have to worry about where they were going to sleep, how they were going to stay safe. What was there to worry about? They didn't have a worry in the world. Everything that they needed was available to them as much as they wanted without any stress from trying to find it. Our grandsons, with their knocked out selves, they didn't have to worry about anything. Us grandmothers, we had their backs. We had them covered. We made sure they were fed well. We made sure they were able to play safely. They had a cushiony place on our laps to sleep. They didn't have to think about any provisions at all. So I watched those two scenarios unfold, and it made me just maybe start thinking, if the birds have no care in the world and they have all of their needs met, and those babies who have no jobs laying in our laps have no care in the world, they have all of their needs met. And how is it that we as adults who are created in God's image, why are we broke? You were not created to be broke. So why are you broke? So I don't know how or why, but that word broke has become a reality in so many people's lives. But yet here we are, 71% of Americans who say they are living paycheck to paycheck. Here we are with the average American household having $104,000 in debt. This year, there were over 32,000 homes that filed for foreclosure. In 2022, almost 1.2 million cars were repossessed. How are we so broke? How in the world do birds live better than us? Flying around, realizing that they have access to unlimited resources they need to survive. They don't have a care in the world. And here we are with the brain power to cure illnesses with little pills that know exactly where to travel in our body to stop aches and pains. Here we are with the brain power to develop the concept of that defies logic, like making a plane that weighs 450,000 pounds that glides in the sky to get you from one side of the world to the other without crashing, to constructing a 240-ton ship that floats on water, carrying thousands of people who are eating all they can and drinking even more and don't even sink. How is it that we have that much brain power to defy logic, but we haven't figured out how to stop being broke? To me, that defies logic too. You, ma'am, you, sir, you are not meant to be broke. God took time to create the galaxies with trillions of stars, a sun that's just close enough to keep us warm without us bursting into flames, and just far enough to give us cold winters without it literally freezing us to death. God took the time to make a planet that spins at just the right speed to where we're not chunked into outer space. And He took time to make us in His image, where our hearts beat consistently without us even having to think about it or remember to make it do it on its own, where our digestive system works on its own. We take in the food moves through our bodies, it extracts the vitamins and the nutrients, and it sends them to our other systems, and the remaining pieces get flushed in the toilet. God took time to pay attention to every little detail concerning all of His creations, including us. So if He made time to do all of that, why in the world would He waste any time on you just for you to be broke? He didn't. He gave you enough wisdom. He gave you talent. He gave you access to resources to generate the wealth you need to enjoy this life that He created for you to have. But it's up to you to do your part to get access to all you need in order to never be broke again. But what are you doing that's making you broke to begin with? Number one, you don't have a clear financial goal. Having a clear financial goal is the starting point for every decision that you'll make in regards to how you're going to make more money. You're going to pay off the debt, know how much to save if you have no direction. When you set financial goals, you're setting your destination for your future. For example, if you want to become debt free in 5 years, what are the exact steps that you need to take to get there now? Where exactly do you want to be in 5 years? What are some of the things that you have to do now to make 5 years from now a reality? Two, you don't plan for emergencies. Life be life and life costs. You have to know at any moment something negative really could happen. And the price tag that's attached to it shouldn't force you into a downward catastrophic spiral. If you don't find ways to prepare for your financial emergencies, you're really setting yourself up for failure. What if you lose your job? What if a tornado or a hurricane hit? What if your car breaks down? When you're not prepared for common expenses, you will be forced to do more harm than good when it comes to your finances. Number three, you don't budget. One main reason why people stay broke is because they don't live according to a budget. Without tracking your income and your expenses, it's nearly impossible to know how much money you spend. If you have ever gotten paid and made a few purchases and you seem like you don't have nothing left over at all, you will ask yourself, where did my money go? Developing a realistic budget will help you take control over your finances. Number four, you don't take time to think about your future. One of the common reasons people give for why they have no money in their checking or savings account is because they want to spend their money and they want to enjoy life now. They don't want to keep saving and saving and saving until they're too old to enjoy their money. It's understandable. I got that. That some people don't want to live off of nickels and dime all their life until the retirement age when they try to live a lavish life later. I got that. But it is, however, impossible and it's very important to have a healthy balance of planning for tomorrow while having a good time today. Making smart choices and investments with your money will allow you to enjoy your life while you're young and benefit from it in the future. Five, you have bad habits. Are you a smoker? How much are a pack of cigarettes today? How often do you smoke a whole pack of cigarettes? What about alcohol? How often do you drink? How much does that cost you when you go out? Over a weekend? Within a month? What about a year? Do you buy things that cost you more over time? Like swiping that credit card to the max, only paying the minimum payment for years at high interest rates instead of you just saving for what you want and buying it at one time. Six, you don't pay yourself first. Paying yourself first is one of the easiest ways to improve your finances. Most broke people, they don't do that. Whenever they're trying to get ahead, they don't do it. But it's important to understand that it's nearly impossible to build wealth by putting money in a simple savings account. You need to consistently put a portion of your paycheck into investments account to take advantage of earning interest over time. So, now that you know what you're doing that's keeping you broke, you're going to stop doing that today, right? I think you are. So now you're going to change your mindset about how you're going to better manage your life. Now, if you want a better life, not overshadowed by past due bills and not overshadowed by mountain debt, I want you to yell. You can yell. Nobody's listening to you. I want you to yell. I'm not meant to be broke. Believe it or not, I heard y'all yelling. So now, how are you going to stop being broke? The first thing you're going to do is adjust your mindset and focus. Have you ever thought about something and then you start seeing it everywhere? Like if you're thinking about a white car and now you're going to start driving and you're going to see white cars everywhere. That's what you're going to have to do in order for you to stop being broke. I want you to stop focusing on the negative parts of debt. The more you think about the negative parts of debt, the more your actions are going to keep you doing the things to cause you to be in more debt. What you have to do is get into the headspace where you are committed to the journey and find ways to motivate and find ways to inspire yourself to accomplish your financial goals. I want you to stop telling yourself that you're broke. I want you to start asking yourself, what can I do differently to help me save more money for my goals? The more you focus on directing your money to fund your dreams, the more you will find ways for your money to flow in your direction. It'll happen. I promise it'll happen. Number two, you're going to work on your self discipline. One key motivator to help you with self discipline is to figure out your why. What is the reason you want to end the cycle of being broke? What do you want bad enough that money will help you to obtain? What do you want to do for yourself? What is that big dream that you have? What do you need where money will help that become a reality? That is your motivation. That's going to help you work on your self discipline. That motivation will help you stay inspired to do what you need to do to not be broke. Three, you're going to have to stop borrowing for everything. Y'all don't have to get a payday loan to live. You don't have to keep getting bank loans to live. You don't have to keep swiping that credit card all the time just to live. People borrow money way too much for every single expense, thinking they'll be able to just pay the bill in full every month. Then life starts lifing and that bill don't get paid. And that interest starts to kick in, and you soon find that your credit card is maxed out. People use credit cards because of the convenience, but it should be used only as a strategy. You should spend only 30% of your card limit and pay it in full when the bill is due, on time, every month. Quit paying the interest unnecessarily. To these credit card companies and these loan companies, you're making them rich. Quit making everyone else rich. Four, I want you to prioritize paying off your debt. The quicker you can pay off your debt, the sooner you can free up months of money to put towards your savings, fill up your emergency fund, and to afford your short term and long term goals. You're putting so much money towards your debt that a lot of times you can feel overwhelmed, like there is no room for anything else, and you feel like you are broke all the time. I want you to be intentional about paying off your loans. The sooner you do, the sooner you will stop being broke. Y'all, I've said this many times in these different episodes. God did not create you to live any kind of way. He created you in His image, which means He values you. He loves you. He wants the best for you, and He's going to take care of you. Just like those birds who had unlimited supplies of water and all kind of good food that was dropped from tables. Just like my grandson and his friend who got fat full off of plates that they didn't have to pay for. Y'all, God is so amazing. He wants to be your provider. He wants you to have more. He wants to give you more. He wants you to have that home. He does want you to drive that nice, safe car. He wants you to take those trips all over the world so you can see the planet that He created for you to enjoy. He wants to give you a life that's exceedingly, abundantly above all that you can think or you can ask. But you have to make up your mind that you're not supposed to be broke. Y'all, once you do that, I want you to sit back and watch God do His work in your life. So that is this week's episode. I hope that it sparked a fire in you to do what you need to do to live that exceedingly abundantly life. If you found value in this episode, I need you to do me a favor. I want you to share this with your village. It's Crystal Clear Podcast is on YouTube, it's on Spotify, and it's on Apple. As usual, I want to send a huge hand clap to my behind the scenes team for bringing me to you each and every week. And as usual, I want to send a huge thank you to each one of you who choose to let me help you become wealthy and increase that money in your bank account. Remember, I want you to dream big. I need you to stay focused, and I want you to live your best life within budget. I'll see you next time on Crystal Clear.